Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. I greet every one of you wherever you are listening, and I say, may Chukwu Okike Abia ma onye pụrụ ime ihe niile guide and protect every one of us wherever we are. He say, he say, he say, my name is MAP Ezioku Bundu 1 in Biafra land, and today I have returned to continue where I stopped. I know a lot of people think or thought that Mazi Achebepo have run to exile or have become government in exile, refusing to return. Of course, no. I went for vacation and I have returned back to finish what I have started, because no going back in this very journey. Nwata Igaran, greetings from here. Nwogu Emmanuel, greetings from here. Vincent Emeka, greetings from here. Leonard Chukwudi, greetings from here. Gina AB Gina, greetings from here. I greet every one of you. And I say, may Chukwu Okike Abia ma onye pụrụ ime ihe niile guide and protect every one of us. And I want to tell Biafrans and lovers of freedom that today is a special day to me. And why I say it's a special day, today is the birthday of my beautiful wife, the Lord Mazi Achebepo, nwaanyị ka ibie, nwaanyị njem ọnụ. Tata birthday, and we wish you long life and prosperity. Ogana Ganiru, more intelligent, more wisdom, more testimonies, and more anything good to her. And I am very proud of her, to be honest. She is the mother of my two boys, and I always appreciate her for her endless effort towards my life and towards my stand. She always supports me in all ramifications. She always shows her love and respect and support me in anything I do. She always stand by me. That is why you see me every time I stand strong. That's why I now believe that in every successful man, there must be a successful woman behind it. I concur with that word, and she have proved that to me. And I must say, happy birthday to Lord Mazi Achebepo. Long life and prosperity. On this note, I will be taking on the few topic. I will not take much of time, but before I proceed, I must appreciate every IPOB member, those that try to reach me to know why I am not coming on air and why my number switch off, why there is no more break light of MAP Ezioku Bundu. I must say, may Chukwu Okike Abia ma bless you all. It shows that I am still important to some of us. Undermine that the load is very heavy on us, but some of you create your time to ask of me, and so I really appreciate that, and it gives me joy when somebody asks of you or ask of me. It shows that yes, they think of you and they mean well of you. And I must appreciate the IPOB leadership. And also, let me greet the Kukuana Afwanya, Mazi Nnamdi Okwu Kanu, the leader of indigenous people of Biafra. I salute you. Oke mmanwụ na-eti onwe ya. Okirikiri ka a na-agba ose, ada arị enu. Ịbụ ọkpụkpụ gbado ndị ilo n'onu, gbọpụta ya okwu, nomikwa anya okwu, wee sị na ị ga-adị ka echi na echi ada agụ agụ. Ị ga-azụ ka ahịa mana ịma anakwanụ ka ahịa. Ị ga-adị ka isi mmiri maka na isi mmiri dụka ewu. Igosigo that na ihe ị na-anụ wee na-afụ na 99.9% of us ligolugode n'ukwu ọjị na ya ma afịa. Wee sị na ọ ga-adịrịrị gị na mma. Azuka V Madume akwụkwọ na makpọtara afa gị biko gbaghalụ m biko na iji obodo ibe emebichego m ile. Ụfọdụ na-ebe nsụ Igbo ha jụọ m onye ebee ka m bụ. Obinna Okorie ekenekwa m gị. N'ụbọchị taata anyị ga-etinye this broadcast abụlọ for ndị na-enwere ụbụrụ biko. This broadcast abụlọ for ndị na-enweghị ụbụrụ. This broadcast are for people nwere ụbụrụ, people nwere ọgụgụ isi, people ndị intelligent, and most especially ana m agwa ndị IPOB, anara m eme broadcast maka ngị nwa mma ihe, anara m eme broadcast maka ngị nwa mma ụzọ. Mgbe ọbụla ifo m pụta na broadcast, you must bear it in mind that the people, the reason why I come to make a broadcast are for those people who have not learned anything, those who we need to save, those who are still languishing in their ignorance, thinking that they know it. These are the reasons why we are here. I'm here. Abulu so mado deka Gina AB Gina. Believe you me, I can never make a broadcast. Abulu mado deka Chinonso Felix. Nge jena bolo wemola. Abulu mado no Sunday deka Obinna Okorie. Mado deka Azuka V. You will not see me here, to be honest, because these people, they're already waking up. They know the truth. They know what we are fighting for. All these people, no, this comment section, my hair logo. You can't see me making a broadcast. The reason they are here are for those of us, those our brothers and sisters, who are ignorant, who are unable to reason and get the point. Hygienus Madoka, Obu no Makagi, you will not see me here. Ngajela Hobola, I have a lot. And in Europe, you need enjoyment. In Europe here, I have what it takes to enjoy my life. But because of these people, I have deprived myself a lot of things. And where many places need the reading aga, but check here some certain things, I will cut it off. That is when you get better Biafra. Kunu marakwan that no one non-IPOB namaho was up. On well on your bonnet for non-IPOB. Namalo KJ Bindo, Namalo KJ, that is KJ Flares life. In terms of money, we have money to take care of ourselves. Egana, any club, any place I try, bullion, we have it. But there is a price we need to pay. We have to deprive ourselves that joy, to make sure that our people are liberated, to make sure that our people are freed. That is why I always say kudos and I send my greetings and respect to the leadership of IPOB, the Directorate of State. These men have deprived themselves a lot of things. There is a lot of sacrifice being made on a daily basis. And because of that, I have promised myself, I cannot promise you, because if I promise you anything, definitely I'm going to fail you. I have promised myself that I will continue until Biafra is restored. I will continue until I see Mazi Nnamdi can come out. Now, today's topic is the return of MAP and the why Africans are living in bondage. These two topics, you must come with your brain. You must come with your sense of reasoning. And the platform is open for any person to join the broadcast, regardless of who you are. Once you have something useful, meaningful to contribute, feel free to ask me, Mazi Achebe, drop the link. I want to participate. Let me air my own opinion on this very issue. Now, we have spent 2 years plus since the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, trying to educate our people, try to elaborate them the more, trying to put them in order, try to make sure that they will not wallow or deviate out of ignorance, or your emotion will not take you out. You will do one thing or the other and jeopardize your own future. So this have been the priority of IPOB, most especially the Radio Biafra and every other IPOB media warriors. And I must appreciate those on Twitter, because I have tried a lot to be active on Twitter, believe you me. And well, I am incapable. So I must appreciate people like Nicholas or Haji is doing marvelously well. That I am not active on Twitter doesn't mean that I don't see people that are active. Emeka Gift, I respect them too so much. Africaans, there are many. Another on the leadership of IPOB, those ones are professional. In fact, I give it to them. I give it to them. So ike Twitter atra igom kama kanga dị active na Twitter mgbanecha mgbacha nika ọ bụrụ ndị kwuru ego si na ọgbacha nika ọfụ ala atọ da mgbacha nika nda. So I try left and right. Even Gina Abijina, you are doing great on Twitter, and some of our Reverend sister Veronica, you are wonderful on Twitter. So I appreciate you all. Unu mekari emu ekwete emu na nke a. Onye mekarịa gị bịa na o mekarị gị, then ịgbaba mbọ ka ị mara ka ị ga-eme ite. And na-put as a challenge to myself, I must be active on Twitter. I must. Ndị anọ dị enwere isi na-abụ, and I must. They don't have two heads. Now, the return of MAP. Some of you will say, why did I add the return of MAP? Why I say the return of MAP is because I have buried the issue of every autopilot and their criminal gangs. And I am returning to the main purpose why I joined IPOB Media Warrior. Because the issue of Ekperima, we have defeated that. It is done and dusted. And I must give credit to every IPOB Media Warrior. From Radio Biafra to the least, I give you credit for this wonderful achievement. It's not easy. When it's not easy in one careful, IPOB Egosigo, yes, they are truly formidable. That word formidable is what they have proven within these 2 years of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu kidnap. And I must respect every media warrior. Mkpọba afa mweki ichefu afa people. That's why I'm actually hate afa. Actually make afa because I must forget some people's name, and by doing that, automatically the people, if you forget one person's name, believe you me, the person will think that you are not watching him or her, or you are drawing some enemies, or maybe you are distancing yourself. I have observed it. And before I say anything, I always put myself in the position, and I am speaking with experience. So if you are a media warrior, take the credit. Whether you are on comment section, Twitter, iSwitch, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere, all of you have done marvelously well. Now let us go to the main topic. Why Africans are living in bondage. Before that, I have received a series of calls. Why is IPOB leadership not meeting the president of Russia to come in and help us and achieve Biafra? Igbalikolo, Nigeria. You know, I have received a lot of calls, and I say I will address this issue because a lot of us don't know what is diplomatic and the international policy, most especially when it has to do with a sovereign state, a country that has their independence. Some of us, when we speak, I quite understand that a lot of our people don't know there is a rule of engagement and there is a international policy. There is something we call diplomacy. And on this note, because of those who have questioned me about the reluctance of leadership to meet Putin, the president of Russia, to help liberate Biafra, and why is there no any negotiation according to them, because they are not in position to know what the leadership is doing. And the leadership of IPOB owe you no explanation. Rather, they owe explanation to the person who sent them an errand. So on this note, I will first of all dissect that very topic, why IPOB leadership is not making waves with Russia. Now, what is IPOB? In some ways, you can say IPOB is a mass movement. Some will say IPOB is an organization led by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu trying to liberate and restore Biafra, to give us our freedom. Automatically, IPOB is not a nation. So pay attention. Like I said, it requires brain and intelligence to be on today's program, because this is a return of MAP Eziokwu Bundo. I will answer every of those questions you ask me, and feel free, if you have any dispute or disagreement, feel free to come in. But what I cannot tolerate is for any person to come here and say, DOS do this, DOS do that. I will kindly remove you. I will kindly remove you. But if you come with some of facts and figures, you can take as many minutes as you can. So now, the reason why DOS cannot come and tell Russia, come to Biafra land, first of all, IPOB is not a country. And the Russia as a country cannot invade Nigeria. Russia as a country cannot openly support IPOB. Do you know the reason? There are a lot of countries who want to break out from Russia. There is a lot of countries who want their also freedom. So for any nation to come out openly to support any country that want to break out, automatically you are calling for other international body to come and break your own country. And Russia understand this, and the IPOB knows this. There must be underground agreement, which will be omitted not to say on the air. So you must understand that IPOB, Russia cannot come and say, we want to help IPOB. IPOB is not a nation. IPOB is not a country. You can work you can have any agreement, but Russia cannot invade Nigeria. They don't have that right. You can have negotiation, but the same way Russia helped Niger Republic, the reason you see Niger Republic, you see Russia in Niger Republic is because Niger Republic is a country. They have their own currency. They have their territory. They have president. The president will use his own power, veto power, to invite any person. They can sign agreement, the defense agreement with Russia. Now you are still under Nigeria, whether you like it or not. You are still under Nigeria, and that's what makes you must obey the rules and regulations of Nigeria until you get your freedom. So those of you who are asking, well, if Chike Doziem should go and meet Russia, Russia have a limitation. Russia cannot come to Nigeria to help IPOB. The only help Russia can help is that if you are dealing, maybe war broke out, you can have an agreement with Russia to support you with some certain things. But sending Wagner group to Biafra is not done anywhere. So you must understand that it does not mean that you are more intelligent than the DOS, or you don't know, they don't know what to do. But there is a limitation. Even when you meet Putin, he will not agree with you. If you like, promise him to become his slave, he will not come, because there is a repercussion. There is a repercussion. Now, that is for that. Let us go. Why is Africa living in bondage? Africa is living in bondage because the Africans have not risen up or realized what they want. 90% of Africans are supporting something they know nothing about. Now, when you hear about NATO or NATO, you ask yourself, what is NATO? Who are the people making up NATO? Do you know there is a rules and regulation of NATO? A nation who joined, ask yourself, why, as the whole Western country is controlling Africa, why is there no any African country that have joined NATO? Why do Africa fail to join that very union called NATO? NATO is not only made for European countries. No, NATO is for the whole world. You can join if you wish to join NATO. But ask yourself, why is Africa Never, none of the African country made up the come to become a member of NATO. Do you know? Go and check the rules and regulation of NATO. Any African country that join NATO, automatically NATO have no right to invade that country. NATO will not draw the natural resources of that very country. NATO will help that country to grow and develop. The purpose of NATO is, the NATO member is to become the power that rule the world. Now, you will ask yourself, why is Russia not a member of NATO? Everything I'm going to tell you here is history. You will go and check the fact and figures. You will see everything here. Everything. Now, do you know that the people that made up NATO, most of them, you like United States of America, you don't give them, you don't tell them the amount of money they will print. They can wake up in the morning and print $1 billion to use. You cannot question them. Britain have access to of the same thing. They can print any amount. Exactly. 31 countries made up NATO, from Europe to America, and yet no African country are inside. Now, there is another one called BRICS. That is BRICS. BRICS. I see that many Africans are supporting it, but they never ask themselves how many African countries are on it. Only South Africa, and South Africa joined 2010. Some of us are in today's broadcast will be centered on NATO and the BRICS, so that Africa will know the reason why they are living in bondage, so that Africa will know that there is something they can do to liberate themselves, so that Africa will know where they got it wrong. Now, NATO today, every member of NATO has money and they are rich. Are you aware of this? And you cannot see any member of NATO invading a member of NATO. France cannot fight England. England cannot fight Italy. Italy cannot fight Germany. These people have union. And most of them, for example, I will still be bringing the G7. When you talk about the G7, we talk about France, America, Japan, Germany, and England. That is Britain. These people, yes, that is what I said. Only South Africa is the only African country that joined BRICS, and then joined in 2010. Why BRICS was formed 2001 by the then Russia president before this current one. Now, if you check the leaders of NATO, you see that they are the one who are deciding the currency, any amount any country will print as their currency, and any amount of every country, the amount of their money, and they decide on the weapons you can produce in your own country. But them, like America, nobody control them. Them, like Britain, they have that free access to print their own. That is where Russia, when they bring Russia in, Russia asks them to add them to join the people that will have the free access to print any amount of money they want. And they remove Russia. They say that Russia can be their member, but Russia cannot be on top among the 4 people that will have free printing of currency. Those that will have no limit in whatever they are doing. They will have access to everything. That was what prompted Russia to pull out from NATO and say that they cannot join them, because Russia right from time want to sit on top. Now, this BRICS was formed in order to bring down NATO, because NATO is automatically evil also, because the West, who formed the BRICS you are seeing today, the B stand with start with Brazil. For those of you, when you hear BRICS, 90% of Africa that are supporting BRICS don't know the full meaning of BRICS. They don't even know what BRICS stand for. Now, BRICS, the first B there stand for Brazil. The arrow there stand for Russia. The I there stand for India. The C there stand for China. Then the S stand for South Africa. That is the meaning of BRICS. So when you see BRICS, you will think that BRICS mean anything. The first letter of each of the country that made up that members of BRICS is what they took to form BRICS. Before 2010, it is called BRIC. It is called BRIC, not BRICS. Then when when South Africa joined, that is why you see it become BRICS. Now, when Ukraine, I mean, wanted when Ukraine was deceived and they start fighting Russia, the world gathered against Russia. Have you asked yourself why China removed themselves? China never supported Ukraine nor NATO. India removed themselves. Brazil removed themselves. South Africa also removed themselves. These are the people who are members of the BRICS. The same way, if you are a member of NATO, you cannot fight against NATO because you are joining this union. It's like forming a social club, according to Ndigo. Forming a social club. And for you to be on this club, you need to protect the interests of this club. Every member of that club, for example, now, if I see an IPOB member now having issue with another person, I will stand by the side of an IPOB member first. If the person did wrong or right, I must stand by him because he is an IPOB member. Rather, I can caution him inside, but I must stand by him. Now, the BRICS and the NATO are on the same mission. They are on a power tussle. But the difference between the BRICS and the NATO is because BRICS have more human rights. They respect the human rights more than NATO. Now, if you check NATO, none of the countries that made up NATO has natural resources to compare with the country that made up BRICS. When Russia say we can, since you people cannot put us in the top of the people who will be making decisions, most especially in terms of printing currency for them and in terms of other things, making a top decision that will be controlling the world. In case you don't know, the people that control this world is NATO, G7, and BRICS. These are the people that control the world, and every decision they make, any decision made by NATO, the only people that has the capacity to counter it is BRICS. Now, if you check up the people that make up BRICS, every country that made up that BRICS has something to offer. They have resources. China is one of the most human resources on this planet Earth. They use their human skills. Anything production, China is on it. China is on it. Russia has all the natural resources you can talk about. India are on top of the medical experience in terms of producing any medicine. They have everything they talk about. Now, Brazil, on the other side, are also on the map of bringing something. You come to Africa. South Africa is #1 richest natural resources, or #3, if I'm not mistaken. Now, you see it that the countries that made up BRICS are well endowed with natural resources, and they are coming together. Ask yourself, why is Burkina Faso, why are they not yet a member of this BRICS? Because that will make them more great. Why is Mali not a member of BRICS? Why is Guinea-Conakry not a member of BRICS? Undermining that Russia is helping them. Because exactly, Raphael Adolf, You can drop, I can drop link. If you have your own perspective, you can contribute. We learn by argument. When you argued wisely, others who are watching will be learning. I am a human being, I don't know it all. I only read the history like you, and you can come, you can also make mistake, but joining the two heads together will make us perfect. But the truth remains that NATO is evil, and NATO never mean well for any African country. Check up the people that made up NATO. They are the people that are engaged in the colonialism and the neo-colonialism, and they are the people who are putting Africa down till today. You will ask yourself, coup took place in Burkina Faso. Why is West not rising against Burkina Faso? The same coup took place in Mali. Why is the West not rising against Mali? The same coup took place in Guinea-Conakry. Why is the West, the same NATO that is pushing Nigeria to invade Niger, why do they fail to invade Niger? Now, coup took place in Niger Republic. Have you asked yourself, why is the whole world against the same coup that have took place in three countries, and they keep silent? Why are they now talking on Niger? Now I will dissect that. Now, in 2005, do you know that NATO, the European Union, the EU, they reached an agreement with ECOWAS to draw a pipeline that will move from Ijo, the Biafra land, to Morocco, and they will connect it with Spain. Automatically, once they connect it with Spain, the whole European Union will have free gas coming from Africa with zero payment. Rather, they will plant corrupt leaders on them. Now, ask yourself, why did America, with the help of Europe, blow up the pipeline that cost more than 30-something billion US dollar that connect gas from Russia to the European Union? Because they know that you cannot take resources that is coming from Russia and the Castania freely. You must buy it. Now, they cut off that of Russia own. They want to draw the pipeline from Ijoland to Morocco. And once they connect that pipeline, once it joins to the pipeline of European Union, including Italy, all the European countries will be having free gas. And they reach an agreement that cost that pipeline is costing 13 billion US dollar. 13 billion US dollar to draw pipeline from Ijo to Spain, to Europe. Why they cannot give you free visa to just come to their country? Why you cannot have free visa? Now, why this Niger own, as the Tichani be waiting, they call him the coup leader for Niger Republic. When he took over this thing, he stopped that very pipeline construction with the help of Wagner Group. With the help of Wagner Group. Now, when they stop that pipeline, that is when Europe know that they have hit them hard. Not just the uranium they are using to empower their plants, their nuclear weapons. No. The reason why Italy, the European Union, is rising against Niger is the stoppage of that very pipeline, which is more important to them than that very uranium, because that very pipeline gas, Europe is a country that has weather that is very dangerous to human being, which you cannot deal without gas, because the gas empower the light, the gas empower their heater, the gas empower anything that has to do with the energy plant in Europe here. KE Family Comedy, greetings from here. Now, the war now is between NATO and the BRICS, because when you check the country that made up NATO, you see that their currency is very high, like dollar. What is the source of dollar to become fourth in the most powerful currency? What makes dollar more high? Now, pounds, who is the second currency, most powerful currency in the world? Pounds. What is the source of pounds to become the most powerful currency in the world? The source of pounds is gold, diamond. Do Britain have gold? The answer is no. Do Britain has a diamond? The answer is no. Where is the diamond coming from? South Africa, Sierra Leone, Ghana, and all the African countries, even including Nigeria. Anything I am telling you here, go and make research. You will see all of them. Now, which currency is the highest currency in Africa? And what is the level of that currency to compare to euro or pounds or dollar? Now, we know that Kuwait is have the highest currency. Kuwait have the highest currency because Kuwait dinars is the highest in the world. I know a lot of people don't even know. There are a lot of people think that the highest currency is pounds. No, of course. When you talk about population, do you know that the BRICS, the China have more population, India have more population, China, Russia have more population to compare to the countries that made up the NATO. And on that note, do you know that only these 4 countries, not 4 countries, Brazil, India, China, Russia, and South Africa, that is G5. We call it G5 because when you say G5, that G5 means that how many countries or that are in that group, and members of that group, that very group. Now, do you know that only these 5 countries that make up the G5 country have 45% population of the world? Are you aware of this? The G5 has 45% of the population of the world, which means if Africa want to stop living in bondage, what they need to do now is join these groups. If Africa can divide itself, some join BRICS, some join NATO, automatically that will liberate Africa the more, because when you join NATO, you will have access, you can control yourself. They will put you cannot be under colonialism again. When you join BRICS, automatically you will liberate yourself. You become a member. You have equal right with them. You will have the right. They cannot send their military to come and invade your country. You will be able to use the human right that they put in a place. The England that are making most of the laws that is governing the world today, they base their laws on a human right. These are the things, the power that Africa need to use to rise up, using that human right, the law made by the Britain, the law made by America, the law made by this Western world, use it to rise up. But some of us, we support NATO. What you supporting NATO? Is there any member of Africa that is a member? Is there any country in Africa that is a member of NATO? Why are you supporting NATO when your country is not a member? When they are the people bringing you down? Now let us go back to the initial analysis I am making between the NATO and the BRICS. Now, BRICS has their own mission, and the BRICS mission is to overthrow NATO, to cripple dollar, cripple pounds, and make their own economy. Because when you check the principal rules, the primary rules of BRICS, when you go to the law, the rules that is governing the BRICS, they say their main purpose is 1, economic development, 2, injustice, justice must prevail, 3, development and non-interference. Underline that word, non-interference. Non-interference. What is non-interference? You cannot interfere in your members' dealings. You cannot interfere in your members' dealings. Example, when Russia invaded Ukraine, China was called to come and make a decision. Are you going to support Ukraine or join NATO to condemn Russia? Being a member of BRICS, he knows that there is a law that is guiding them, which is non-interference. China remains silent and say they are neutral. Automatically, they told you that they are neutral, but they know that if NATO invade Russia, automatically China will invade NATO, because you must defend your brother. You must defend your member. You must come for your members' help. Do you know? Are you aware that Putin has a embargo of arrest warrant, that there is a country that Putin will go in, that there is a country Putin will go in, he will be arrested immediately and be detained? Ask yourself, why did Putin go to South Africa? He go to South Africa because he knows South Africa is a member of BRICS. He knows that South Africa, even the president is against him, he cannot arrest him because there is a rule. He is a member. They have that non-interference. You must protect your own first. Your own is the first interest. That is why African is living in bondage, because they support something they know nothing about. They support without having their own plan. They support without going out to know what they want. Even dog and blind person knows that China is not neutral between Ukraine and Russia. Everybody knows that China is in 100% in support of Russia, because Russia is a member of BRICS. BRICS has no meaning. BRICS is just acronym of the names of the country, the first letter of each country that are that member. That is what they bring together to form BRICS. Nothing, it has no meaning. It's not a word they derive from somewhere that when you define it, it will give you some meaning. No, it's just a first letter. Africa, A. America, A. Even if all the countries there started with AA, all of them could have become AAAA. It has no meaning. That is what is the same motto of BRICS is the same motto of NATO. If Russia was to be given that top rank of printing money as they want, they will not form a BRICS. Russia will be a member of NATO today, as I'm speaking to you. Politics is a game of interest. Protect your people first. You put your people, your country before any other country. Russia, you are seeing today, is ready to wipe any other country out in order to make Russia great. American, you are seeing today, is ready to wipe any country out in order to make America great. Britain, you are seeing today, is ready to make law that will wipe any continent out in order to make Britain great. None of them play the politics of engaging the rule of law. No, they are people first. That is the politics African leaders fail to play that make Africa to be living in bondage. That is why I am telling the Burkina Faso, Guinea, and the Niger Republic, what are your plans after the military coup to liberate Africa? What are your plans to liberate Africa? For Africa to be liberated, there is some strategies, some measures we need to put in a place. The liberation of Africa have not started. Some of you are jubilating, shouting that Africans are waking up. Africans have not started waking up. Africans are just sleeping. They are just turning like this. They have not wake up. None of the African countries have waken up. When I went to this Bombonful, one of the most idiotic human being on this planet Earth, the speaker of the Bini Bingos, called the Wounded Civilian, I told the Bingo that none of the African countries have gotten their independence. He was making a blind argument. Now, some of you will say we have ECOWAS in Africa. The first question you will ask yourself is, how come about the ECOWAS? who formed ECOWAS, what is the purpose of forming ECOWAS, what are the primary duties of ECOWAS, what is ECOWAS doing in Africa. Now, the people that formed ECOWAS is NATO. The West formed ECOWAS. They used ECOWAS to capture Africa. If you are not a corrupt leader, you cannot be a member of ECOWAS. ECOWAS was formed in order to protect every corrupt African leader, not to expose a corrupt leaders, not to make Africa great, rather to put Africa in bondage. At this point, I blame the youth because the youth have failed woefully. African youth failed to understand. When you see an African youth, they are only wise on social media, but in a real life, they are uncivilized and unwise people. Because what makes you a wise person is by thinking and implementing what you think, rising up to take what belongs to you. You are not wise by making an ideas that you cannot implement. That is not a wiseness. Now, the battle between NATO and the BRICS is what African politicians and African countries have failed to understand, and to use this conflict between these people to have something. Now, when you check Russia, why the BRICS has capacity to tackle the NATO is because they have what it takes. They have the capacity. They have their resources. Russia is rich. Russia is rich in terms of mineral resources, and even the blessing that Africa has is what Russia have. That is why Russia now, most of their nuclear plants, the resources they use to produce their power plant come from Russia. Everything Russia use today come from Russia. And Russia today there are some part of Asian country that are under Russia, and those Asian countries are also naturally rich. Obino Hale, greetings from here. They are naturally rich. Then they are using it. China, in the other hands, are one of the most powerful countries. They are number one in terms of economy. China product, there is no country you will go today that don't have China product in their shops. China contribute in terms of population. China is well balanced. In terms of military might, China is well balanced. In terms of world power, China is well balanced, and they are a member of BRICS. They were able, they have the resources, they have the capacity to match shoulder to shoulder with any country of NATO. They have what it takes. The same thing. If Russia don't have nuclear weapons, if Russia don't have what it takes to destroy America, what it takes to destroy Britain, what it takes to mount pressure in any country that they look as a threat, they will mount pressure. They will tell the country, if you jump like this, we will put you in order. American could have invaded Russia the same way they invade Iran, invade Syria, invade all the Cuba, invade all the neighboring countries that have natural resources. America have invaded all of them, and these are the things. Do you know that America is the one that is supplying Europe oil and gas today, and America don't have? Most of the oil America is supplying Europe and getting their money come from a country called Cuba. Are you aware that there is a country called Cuba that they have their own independence, and Venezuela, all those countries that are very close to South America, I think South America, and America colonized this very country and take their natural resources and making use of it to be answering world power. Now, America is the one supporting Europe. The taproot of NATO today is Africa. Putin is coming to Africa because you know that the only way to fight NATO is coming to tell Africa to rise up. At this point, the question you will ask the African country who are joining Russia now is, what is the initial agreement you have with Russia? What are your points? What did you have? What is the agreement? Are you getting your freedom, or you want to foolishly follow Russia? End of the day, if Russia achieve their dream, they will hand you over to NATO back. America did it. That is why Uganda is under America today. There are so many countries that are under America, because when the Europe are weak, America come to Africa with the strategy of helping Africa. Africa without brain, they now fall into America. Oh, these ones are better than Europe. Oh, let us join this one. At least they tell us 20 to 30 without having a concrete agreement that they need to know that when you go with this person, this should be the agreement. That is why when African countries joined the American group that time, end of the day, when Europe rise again, America resold Africa to Europe. Listen, America is the last people that sold Africa to Europe through the help of Britain. Remember that Britain are the people who colonized America, and America, being the world power today, remain loyal to the Britain. You must understand this. This is the games you need to understand. This is what you need to put in a place. There is a lot of things. BRICS, which is Brazil, India, Russia, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They have formed a very formidable force. In 2008, do you know that the NATO strike BRICS? That how did NATO strike them? NATO reduced the price of oil barrels, and it affects NATO. It affects BRICS, that BRICS lost 88% of their resources. And losing that, they went back for their plan. Now, when they strike BRICS, for BRICS to lose 88% of their resources and their currencies, most of their this thing, then go back to their restructuring. Because you are fighting a diplomatic war. You are fighting people that are intelligent. You must not win all your battle. The ability for you to rise after going down is what makes you a fighter. But the ability for you to remain as a loser is what makes you a coward and a loser. Africa, after going down, they refuse to rise up. BRICS, after going down, after NATO used the strategy of bringing down the oil price, because they know that oil price is one of the major source of Russia and other countries around the world. They use it to strike, then they go back again. Now, the former president of Russia, somebody, Medvedev, I think Medvedev is the former president before Putin. I have forgotten his name. Medvedev, who formed this BRICS, after they now bringing down Putin with the prime minister of China and the foreign minister of India with the rest, when they go for the World G8 summit in Japan in 2008, they now plan again how to reform these BRICS to come again with full force. These two NATO BRICS you are seeing here, they have rules that is guiding them. They are not like European Union, no. They are not like African ECOWAS, no. They are not like American Union, no. There is a rule. When you want to be totally free, that is when you join them. Go and check the countries that made up NATO. All of them are free nations. You can use the word freeborn. Yes, you can say Italy. Some people will tell me, say, Maz, no, I disagree. Italy is under America. No. Italy is paying their debt to America. Italy is not under American control. When you say somebody is somebody's control, check African life and check Italian life. The Italian parliament make decisions, implement it in favor of Italy. African parliament make decisions based on the white man favorism. You see the difference. Italy is inside NATO. America cannot invade Italy today. Even when they breach the contract, the agreement between them and America, the NATO will find a way to settle them and they make sure that they move. But America, being the world power, cannot invade Italy. That is the work of NATO. And that is why I am calling on African countries to join BRICS. Because joining BRICS, you cannot tell Russia to liberate you. If Russia liberates you and leave you, you can't do it alone. You cannot form your own. Africa cannot form their own and stand alone. No. You need to join the country that has something to offer. Now, country like Nigeria have what it takes. Country like Nigeria has what it takes to be a member of NATO or to be a member of BRICS. Because what are the requirements of being that you can have to join any of these two groups or being a member of G7? You must have the power, the natural resources that can give you money. There is a lot of level of development you will go. Joining BRICS will automatically chase every Western world from your country. If you have a deal, you have your debt, you will take total control of your resources. You can pay your debt gradually. That will give you access to invest, to trade, to export your product to any country that made up that very group. China can easily trade with Russia. NATO can sanction Russia, but that sanction cannot affect China. That will not stop China business with Russia. UN can sanction Russia. That will not stop. That sanction cannot stand before China. It cannot stand before India. It cannot stand before Brazil. It cannot stand before any member of the country that made up BRICS. And China, if you check this very country that make up BRICS, you see that they are well populated, which means only their products they can transact between them, and they will move market. It will not affect them because China product. Imagine Russia now pushing her product to China. China has almost 1 billion populations. Now they now push order to India. India is more than almost 1 billion in population. Brazil population is high. Now come to South Africa, they're high. Now, do you see that UN sanction cannot affect Russia? NATO sanction cannot affect Russia. It will affect them, but it cannot bring them down. They can stand. Now, why can't you join these people? You see it. You talk of resources, China has it. You talk of resources, India has it. You talk of resources, Russia has it. That is capacity. That is only that thing have qualified you to stand. Now, do you know that if Niger Republic can join these BRICS at this point, do you know that Africa will be liberated? If Niger Republic join BRICS, automatically, BRICS means that every country that made up that BRICS, Niger Republic have access, direct transaction. They will be doing they will have partner business. They can exchange their transaction easily. Come to Europe, China, Germany don't need a visa to come to Italy. Go to every supermarket here in Italy. You will see German product here. They are selling their product as if they are in the same country. Go to Germany, you will see Italian product there. Go to America, you will see Italian product. Go to England, you will see Italian product because these people are NATO. Now, BRICS, go to China, you will see Russia product freely. Go to Brazil, you will see Russia product. Go to India, you see Russia product. Go to any part of the country that made up this BRICS, you will see the same product. Ask yourself, why is Africa not joining these two groups? Why are they refusing the countries to join them? At this junction, I now tell you why Africans are living in bondage. The Africans are living in bondage because the African youth have not waken up. There is a very big role that African youth need to play. African youth, you don't need to wait for only the military to take over power and they start clapping following the military. No, you don't do that. The youth need to rise up. The civilians need to rise up, make a decision, rise on them. Then the military who are ready to support the civilians will now come in defense of civilians. We are clapping following the military now. The question is, what of if the military leaders has an interior motive like the democratic leaders we have in Africa? How can you stop them? At this point, the civilians, most especially the youth, need to work direct with the military, making sure that the laws that they will make in these countries will be favored. 99% will be in favor of each of the country, the masses. It will not be centered on the selfish interest. You need collaboration. We need partners to fight for our liberation, because none of the African countries has missiles. Ask yourself, Africans are shouting the whole natural resources they are using to build missiles, power plants, all this one in Europe, it comes from Africa. Why is Africa, none of the African country is producing those things? Who are the people producing it? They are engineers. Chemical engineers have a role to play. Mechanical engineers have a role to play. Any part of engineer has a role to play in producing the powerful weapons you need. At this point, if the Niger government knows themselves, you don't need to go to Russia to even buy weapon. You have it there. Produce it. Where are the military schools? What are they teaching them in military school? Militaries are the people producing weapons in the schools. The engineers, because you don't expect ordinary engineer to produce your weapon for you. That is why you go to Russia will be making waves. The military school is supposed to be one of the powerful schools. And that is why Africans are living in bondage. The Niger Republic, kudos to you, but what is the purpose of taking that coup? Have we tried to know if they are genuinely trying to liberate us? Are they genuinely trying to liberate Niger? If they are genuinely, what are the plans? Burkina Faso have took their own. What are what are the results today? Who are the people still controlling the natural resources of Burkina Faso? And how can you give account? Not they have taken over. Growth is moving. Check the rate where the growth is moving. Check if that growth is moving properly or is still waving. We have a lot of underground work to do in Africa. Every colonialism in Africa need to stop. Now, ECOWAS we are talking about. How did they form ECOWAS? The white formed the ECOWAS. Till the formation of ECOWAS, what have ECOWAS benefited any African country? Have ECOWAS benefited us anything? Go and check. Let me check if I will see the video here. This just a minute. Let me check if I will see it here. I pray I see it. Let us listen to it if I can see it. No, I did not see it. Oh my word. And let me check if I don't see it, I will just move on. It's not here. I don't see it. Now, in 2000 the killing of Muammar Gaddafi, many of us have forgotten what led to the death of Muammar Gaddafi. Do you know that Muammar Gaddafi rise to make one currency for Africa? When Muammar Gaddafi rise, the world, they killed him. The killing of Muammar Gaddafi is a big loss to the entire Africa, because Muammar Gaddafi wanted to make a railway that will unite Africa. Muammar Gaddafi wanted to create a currency. When Muammar Gaddafi took power, Libya was a desert. Libya was a desert. When I say a desert, I mean a desert where there is no tree, where there is nothing, only sand and hot weather. Muammar Gaddafi transformed Libya by erecting let me not use underground, by erecting irrigation. What is irrigation? Irrigation is the artificial applying of water or whatever. Now, Muammar Gaddafi used the work of irrigation to bring water to the whole Libya, and they planted artificial tree that make Libya to have shelter, have forest today. Every tree you see in Libya today is an artificial planted by Muammar Gaddafi, using the irrigation, making sure that water circulated all the places, and he applied it. And today, he make Libya to be great. He transformed Libya to the extent that every first son of Libya was not paying anything. You must have a car. When the Muammar Gaddafi, there's something when you come Europe here. I will say this, some of you don't know this. Now, why do they kill Muammar Gaddafi? They killed Muammar Gaddafi when Muammar Gaddafi, do you know what Muammar Gaddafi was doing? Any country Muammar Gaddafi come in Europe, he will deposit a very huge amount of money in that country. Each of the European country. Do you know what he wanted to do? He wanted to bring his own supermarket or bank in Europe, whereby we're making the product of Libya to be having free access to Europe, and he will employ the citizens of Europe to be working for him, and he have his own service in Libya, not Europe. He wanted to make the Libyan dinars one of the strongest currency, and he refused to borrow money because he has the resources. He refused to borrow money because the Libya has oil and gas. They have the natural resources. You sell it, you develop. When the West see that Muammar Gaddafi have known the same strategies the West are using to develop, by going to any country, when you come to Nigeria today, you will be chopping Mr. Beans. Is Mr. Beans owned by a Nigerian person? You chop the McDonald's, is he owned by a Nigerian person? The answer is no. That is investment. That is exactly what Muammar Gaddafi wanted to do to Europe by bringing his own, opening his own supermarket, his own banks. Do you know that Muammar Gaddafi have one bank in Europe that is called Unique Credit? It's owned by Muammar Gaddafi. Are you aware? People that are living in Italy, go and check who own the Unique Credit you are using today. It's Muammar Gaddafi. Do you know what that means? Through that, you can now sell your product easily. That is when they saw. And he wanted to print a gold money, gold dinars, and that will make dinars, or Libya dinars, one of the most powerful currency in the world. They now planned and they eliminated him and caused the havoc you are seeing today that is consuming Libya. You see it? Then killed him. The same thing they did to Thomas Sankara. Ask yourself, some of you are shouting, Abacha looted Nigeria. Go and study and investigate that Abacha loot. Abacha never looted Nigeria. Some of you will doubt me, and I will prove that to you. Abacha never looted Nigeria. Abacha has a very good plan for Nigeria, and that is why they eliminated him. They'll tell you that Abacha died of a poison. They poisoned Abacha. Who masterminded the poison? Go and check the people they label tyrant in Africa. There is something great those people wanted to bring to Africa. Abacha initiated the plan of Muammar Gaddafi by bringing money to each of the country, because before Germany invest their supermarket in any of these countries you see today, they stored that money in that country, then from there invested on it. The same thing is China is doing today. Before China come to Africa, go and check. China have brought a lot of money, but China did their own through borrowing Africans' money, and they have that free access so that you will not reject it. But other countries install money in any country that you want to invest. That's the same thing Abacha did, and they killed Abacha. Today they are telling Abacha loot. Why haven't they returned James Ibori loot? Why haven't they returned why haven't they returned other evil Nigerian politicians loot? They have not returned Buhari loot. They have not returned Obasanjo loot. They have not returned the people that are looting Nigeria. None of them are talking about it. But they are telling you Abacha loot, because Abacha wanted to have companies in foreign land with the name Nigeria, and it will give Nigeria more connection and access to every country to sell Nigerian product. Today, go around the world, there is no place African product is being sold. Only where you can see African product today is in African shop. Is that an exchange? There is no country around the world you see African product. The only African product the world is dying to sell, to carry today, is the natural resources, the oil and gas, uranium, gold, and the californium, and every other product that will be of use to them. And they are not buying it, they are stealing it. Ask yourself, why is abacha, tapioca, made by African food, why is it not circulating? Why is African product, those that being manufactured by Africans, why is it not circulating around the world? Why is Europe not patronizing Africa? Africa has the best cassava. Africa has the best maize, which we call corn. Africa has the best abamachus esculentus, tomato. Africa has it. Why is African product not going internationally? Because if those products were to be sold outside Africa, the economy of Africa will grow. In order to put Africans in bondage, they now banned African products. Do you know that the first missionary people, the first colonialism, the reason why they came to Africa is because of oil, palm oil. Today, they now see that palm oil has no value to them. They banned it. They now tell you that it give liver cancer, it give body cancer. How many Africans have those sickness that they tell you that red oil give to them? There's none. The sickness that is coming to Africa today are the sickness that you get through the chemical food they are bringing to you. Africans are seeking different food because they have left what they're supposed to be eating. You are eating McDonald's, eating shawarma. With what product? Is that product good with your body? We are here to preach the gospel truth. We are not here to tell you what you want to hear. We are here to tell you what you need to hear. And we have come to liberate Africa. We have come to tell Africans the truth, so that we will rise. So that you will know what you're supposed to do. Africans need to be asking questions. Question the whole history they told you. Some of you will be saying, oh, Mazi, but why are we blaming Christianity in all these things? The reason nobody hates Christianity. What we hate is the actions, the activities of Christianity. If the reverend fathers and pastors are preaching to their people the reality, what's supposed to be happening, I will leave this topic for the next day. If this is another entire topic, I will not go into it. Maybe by tomorrow I will teach it. I will talk about it. But ask yourself, why is Africans not joining BRICS at this stage? Do you know that the moment the strategy of BRICS, they are going to use African countries to pull down NATO? Are you aware of this? Are you aware that one of the strategy of BRICS is to make sure that they use Africa to bring down NATO, bring down America, bring down Britain? The question now is, what is the benefit of Africa? What is Africa going to get? What is Africa going to get? What is the agreement between Africa and this BRICS? We will not be shouting, BRICS is doing a great job, BRICS is doing a great job. That is for their own interest. It's not of interest of Africa. Because Africa needs, with the way Africa is now, do you want to tell me that if Nigeria, Niger Republic, Cameroon, Ghana come together and say enough of all this Western world and seize their natural resources, have their own currency? Because before you know it now, the same way NATO is borrowing money to the whole African countries that they cannot pay back, and they're using it to take their natural resources. That is the same thing BRICS want to do. When BRICS on seat, because when you check the BRICS target, BRICS target is before 2050, they will take over the world powers from NATO, from G7. That is the primary purpose of BRICS. Now, what is the plan of Africans supporting BRICS in 2050? What are they going to achieve before then? That is the place I shed tears, because Biafra have not come at this point. If Biafra have come at this point, Biafrans will be among the people that will be making decisions. You need to have your own master plan. You need to have your own things on ground. For Africa to become great, we must to stop buying our own weapon from foreigners. Let Africa go into productions of weapons. You cannot fight countries that have missiles when you don't have it. Atomic bombs. Africa need to start producing it. When Russia threatening you to bomb your place, you tell them that if you throw it, you will be in Africa, throw missiles to destroy them. You will tell the world we have respect for you. How can Africa be still buying ordinary AK-47? That is a shameful thing. How can you be buying ordinary AK-49 rifle? It is a failure on African leaders. Now, when you ask ECOWAS, why are you protecting, why do you want the democracy to come back to Niger? They will tell you because you are practicing democracy. What is democracy? They say, according to them, they say that democracy is by the people, to the people, for the people, and whatever the people. But is there any country in Africa that their president was properly elected? Is there any country in Africa that their president was properly elected by the people? Have ECOWAS ever condemned, the same ECOWAS that is telling you, oh, they need a democracy in Niger? Tinubu, who is the current president of Nigeria today, his case is still in court, and ECOWAS make him their chairperson. Is that not jeopardizing the democracy? There is no democracy in Africa. What you have in Africa is what they used to pin Africa down, because we lack brain. because you lack the brain to reason beyond your enemies. If you don't lack your brain, if you have the sense, you will know that at this junction, every African youth must rise up against every evil government. Every country now is supposed to be protesting. The white must leave Africa. Let the West leave Africa. That should be the protest that's supposed to be going on in every country, be it Niger, be it Nigeria, be it Ghana, Cameroon. If Africa are waking up, we're supposed to be seeing protests telling France, telling Britain, telling America to leave Africa alone. Those of us are in Europe, we will start organizing the same protests, telling them to leave Africa alone, because they are the one holding us down. We are not yet waking up. Any day we wake up, we should be organizing protests, telling the West, the Europe, to leave Africa alone. Let us be, leave us alone. That protest needs to be organized if the youth have waken up. We must be doing protests in support of Traore Ibrahim, the president of Burkina Faso. We're supposed to be doing it to tell the world that the youth, the civilians, are in support for these people to liberate Africa. And before we do that, we need to have a concrete agreement, a constitution that represents the masses, represents the interests of that very nation, not the interests of some of the selfish, what is it called? Selfish leaders. You must make law that will be guiding that very country, that will protect the natural resources of that country, that will make that country be fully in charge of her natural resources. Then you will now be supporting the military. Now you don't know what the agenda of the military. You don't. When you see all these people telling you we are coming to liberate, not all these people need to be. They don't mean well for us. Have you seen any Ghana person protesting, telling the West to leave Ghana? Have you seen Nigerian people protesting, telling the West to leave Ghana? Have you seen Cameroon protesting, telling the white people to leave Cameroon? Have you seen Burkina Faso people protesting? Yes, they have done that. Have you seen other ECOWAS countries? Today, any corrupt leader we have in Africa is a member of ECOWAS. Come to Europe and see how Africans are suffering. Yet we cannot rise up. Yet we are praying to God to come and help us to bring good leader. Meanwhile, our good leader is supposed to come from us. We are the people who are supposed to bring out good leader. If we put the person there, it's not a good leader, we take him away. That is how the other countries functions. Some of you are so coward. When I say this, I know there are some brainless idiots. Or will I use somebody that is suffering from brain, that is, what will I call it? Person like this Mohammed D now is somebody that don't have acumen. He don't have thinking faculty. He cannot reason beyond his or her endings. His brain is so useless that he is so foolish that he cannot even calculate where did he go from now. When you are in Europe, are you taking their resources by force? Is there any African military that are in Europe killing the European citizen in Europe? That is what you are going to ask them. You are in Europe, you are working, paying your tax. The European people that are in your country, are they working, paying tax to your country? No, they are killing your citizens in your own country. That is what you need to protest against. One be somebody that cannot reason because you have an access to that and you come to comment section to be commenting rubbish. My friend, can you quietly shut up your silly mouth and listen and learn? We have become coward. We have become coward to the extent that you are afraid. You are in an American country. Oh, you cannot protest against American to stop killing your people in your own country. You can. Kill the cowardice. Kill the cowardness. Confront them. The law is there. Use the law they make to against them. Because they will use the same law to against you if they are to be in your shoe. Cara, good greetings from here. If Africans start protesting that the West, the Europe, the Americans should leave Africa alone, we continue this protest. Let Africans start this protest across the world. Believe you me, it will yield a good fruit. But if we start shouting, you support your leaders, you support the military alone don't have the power might, the military might to stand the strategy of the West without the support of the civilians, most especially the youth. At these junctions, these are the places where the youth need to step in to show their solidarity to the military. But some of you will not understand this. You will not understand this. You think it's all about they will arrest you. Nobody has the power to arrest you. Nobody has the power to arrest you here in Europe when you call for their soldiers to leave your country, to stop killing you. Because I myself, I am confronting them one-on-one. Do you know that here in Italy, they will tell you that they are begging money to help Africa? No, they are not begging money to help Africa. How are they helping you? Are they buying your product? No. They will come with, they will tell you that they are coming with aid worth of maybe 500 naira or $500 million. And they will steal something that worth $500 billion. And they give you 500 million. They collected something that is worth 500 billion. And they are telling me they are helping you. You are afraid. Why are you afraid? Tell Africans in Europe, Africans in Italy, if you are Cameroon, if you are Ghana, you are Nigeria, you are Burkina Faso, you are any part of Africa, let us march on the street of each country. Tell that country to leave us alone. If it will warrant for all of us to go back to Africa and we go back, let them come back to their country. We can do it. But that's the reason why we cannot do it. You don't believe in yourself. You don't believe that you can achieve something. You don't believe in your potentials. You don't believe in your spirit. You don't believe in what you can offer. You don't believe in your own physical and spiritual powers. You believe that only the white can make a decision that will favor you. You don't believe that you as a black race can make a decision that will favor you. Even if that decision hook the West, it doesn't care. Until we start living the life of, if this person is not Africa, don't care about the person. Care about only Africa. Put Africa first. That is when you can get sense. That is when you become great. You cannot become great by putting others first before you. This junction at this point, Africa need to rise up. We can achieve that by cutting off the African corrupt leaders. We must make the African corrupt leaders useless before us. When they give us order, we disobey it. We make them, their order become as useless as anything else. Africans, ask yourself, you have the talent. Ask yourself, who built Google? It's an African man. Who go and check the fastest computer today built by African man. Why anything that has to do with science and technology, the best come from a black man. But why can't Africa have their own, anything about their own? Do you know that the best medical doctor today is an African man? These West makers, they take the tools that will make us to excel. They take it away and they put us in bondage and they resilient us. How can a politician in Africa be using roads to be campaigning to become president? Say he will tie road. Be using electricity to campaign, and you, as a black youth living in Europe, are clapping, following the person. You are the most useless dundee you can come across. How can you be clapping for somebody that is campaigning for electricity for you? America, go and check the people they are voting in. They will tell you, I will make America great. I want world power. They don't use those things to campaign. We need to rise up. The youth need to rise up. Chase the 1% out. Which law are the youth making today? Do you know that 90% of African youth don't know the constitution of their countries? Are you aware that 90% of Nigerians don't know what is manifesto? That is why when I see obedient, I see the most intelligent person in obedient as a foolish person. Do you know that when you see an obedient, they will tell you, Peter Obi will reclaim their mandate. And the Peter Obi did not go for reclaiming mandate. Peter Obi never said he have won election. And the people are misbehaving because you refuse to read, you refuse to study, you refuse to look in deep to know the truth. Ask people that are in Nigeria, ask Nigerians living in abroad, why are you supporting the politicians? What are their manifestos? They don't know. When you tell them self-determination, they say, oh, that is a call for war. Thank you, Karagold. They don't know what is self-determination. They don't know it. They don't know what is referendum self. They don't even know the meaning of human rights. When you say you are fighting for human rights, how can a French military be in your country and you say you have a human right in that very country? What are they doing there? They have violated the international diplomacy rule of law, rule of engagement. What is British Navy, British military doing in Nigeria? That is a violation of international rule of engagement. And the only people that can stop that is the youth, the civilians, the uprising. But some of you will not know. Your own is to come Europe, make money, build one apartment, build house for rent. Then is our more catchy. You can't de buga. Ask yourself, iPhone that is making 90% of our African girls to become a shawo today. Ask yourself, the materials they are using to produce iPhone, which country does it come from? Do you know that 95% of materials that are using to produce this iPhone that is very expensive come from Uganda? The same Uganda that Americans sanctioned for banning GAY. The same Uganda that Americans sanctioned. Why can't Uganda sanction America by stopping the American exploit? American is extorting the materials that are using to produce this Apple phone, Apple computer, Apple laptop, anything that has to do with Apple, anything that has to do with Apple product, iPhone product, is coming from Uganda. Are you aware of this? Africans are very rich, endowed with natural resources, but the human beings there are very unwise, uncivilized, That is, they are irritating. I was speaking with one Italian guy, very young guy. I senior him by age. He might be 30 or from 30 or 34. He's a very young guy. I senior him by age. And I asked him, no, he first told me that Italian people are helping Africans a lot. That I said, no. I say Africans are helping Italian people. So we are doing the argument. He now said that if I go to the street, I will see some of Italian people begging money in order to say, at times I see it on TV, say contribute €1 to help Africa. And they say that they bring aid. He used a country like Ethiopia, say that even his auntie is among the people that go and give a first aid to Ethiopia. I say no. Your auntie is one of the criminals whom the government is using to cripple Ethiopia. I say Africans, Europe, Italy don't help Africa. I say now, I ask him, the product, Italian product, the materials, there are iron, they call the achayo inox seed. There is another one called ferro. I ask him, the materials the Italian people are using, where are they getting it from? Where are they getting it from? All come from Africa. How much is Italian paying? I ask him, are you aware there is a filling station called Eni in Italy here? I ask him, are you aware that it's owned by Italian person? He say yes. I ask him, do you know that Eni is an oil company? He said yes. I asked him, do Italy have oil? He said no, because Italian oil is 0.9. If not 0.9, it will be 0.9. One of these, let me not, if I'm mistaken, any person that knows what I am saying here can correct me. I stand to be corrected. And I asked him, that Eni is in Nigeria. In Italy here, they call it Eni. But in Nigeria, they call it Ajib. Ajib is owned by Italy. Some of you, when I said Eni, you don't know that what I am saying. Now that I have called the name that is very popular with, is called Ajib. Now, in order to take the Nigerian brain away from Ajib, they now label it A and O. I be this in Obasanjo and what in Oando. Oando is now the current name that is using in Nigeria. And they lie to Nigerian that is owned by Obasanjo. No, it is owned by Italian government. Go and make researches and investigations, and you will see what we are telling you here. And like I told you, today's broadcast will be centered on the history for Africans to wake up, most especially our people, to start reasoning. Anyabago saga of Gumi of Idwell. Let me go back to what I am called for. Some of you, when we speak, some of you will think we don't know anything about what is happening or what is going on. Now, I told him that Eni is extorting oil without payment. Are they helping us, or they are the one that is contaminating our waters, stealing our oil, and killing our people in the name of rebels? Are you helping us? In conclusion, do you know what he told me? He said that Africans has food, but they don't have teeth. And because you don't have teeth, you cannot eat. He said that Europe have teeth, but they don't have food. They have to use their teeth to bite the food that Africans has. He said that any day Africa starts developing teeth, Africa will rule the world. What is that teeth that he's talking about? The nuclear weapons. The ability to take what belongs to them. And these are the areas where our leaders have failed us. And for the leaders to fail us and the youth fail themselves in order not to rise up, for them not to take the leaders out, the youth now sold their own future. We are making arguments. Some people will say, don't blame the Nigerian youth for the suffering in Nigeria. I said, no, I have to blame them, because the people you are worshiping, they achieve a lot of things. during their youthful age. For example, I asked the guy, the late Muhammad Buhari became the head of state at what age? At age of 34, he became the head of state. He used his youth age to achieve the ground that he's holding at this old age. Because in our language, we make a parable that nkwenye kpalụ n'udu mmiri, nkwenye kpalụ n'ọkọchị ka ọ na-anya n'udu mmiri. The firewood you fetch during the dry season is what you will use during the rainy season, because during the rainy season, there is no chance for you to fetch firewood. That means you have to make plan for the rainy season. The people that are ruling you today, they make plan during this, the plan they are using today, they made it during their youthful age. Obasanjo become the commander of the one of the battalion. At age of 20-something, 30-something, he have become a captain, he have become head of state. Nnamdi Azikiwe achieved his greatness at the young age. Obafemi Awolowo, the same thing. Abacha, the same thing. Now, where are the youth that are of that age today? Their youth are in Greek. Guiding pipeline for somebody that is old enough to be their great-grandfather. And because the youth lack sense of reasoning, they don't think beyond their earnings. They don't reason. You don't calculate. You don't do maths. Ask yourself, the West translated Bible and other things. Why didn't they translate maths, chemistry, and physics into your language for you to be able to learn something? English is not your language. At that junction, you will know that when you failed in your youthful age, what you don't have the capacity to do at your 30s, 40s, 50s, you cannot be able to do that at your 80s. It is impossible. It's not possible. How can they be using somebody that is above 80 years to manipulate you as young as 30 years? And you are clapping following Tinubu. You are clapping following Peter Obi. You are clapping following Atiku Abubakar. How old is these morons that you are clapping to? How old are they? What are you doing with your youthful age? What are your own record? When last did you hear about record of the youth making history in Nigeria? Emmanuel Macron of France became the president of France at age of 32, if I'm not mistaken. How old are you? You are still following Davido on Twitter. Hey, Davido Nyonsi. Hey, Davido Kwalokwala. Davido this, Davido that. Hey, Whiskey update. Asake is reigning now. Who is the latest musician now? It's Rema. Rema is the highest. Go and check all of them. After their reign, they go back to poverty. I saw one video where what is it called? The one that sing Shaba. What is this guy name? That sing they created the mad what again? What is this guy name? I'm forgetting his name. He's running mad on the street now. He is running mad on the street. Why? Depression. Idris Abdulkarim has a kidney problem. He needs to beg money. Face and the black face, all of them are broke. They are all broke ass. The Moke Jakota, them, all of them are broke. Because there is no plan for the youth. The youth fail to plan for their future. You are waiting for your grandfather to make a plan for you. Thank you, David Alex. Solid Star. Solid Star. Solid Star is now running mad. Depression. Depression. You don't have any foundation. Greetings, Methuselah. I greet you, great man. There you go. And you are there shouting, oh, obedient. You are shouting, oh, articulated, oh, Jagaban. Why can't you rise up? They will use few of you and dump you. Come to our Nigeria today, Nigeria that me and you is today. There is no future for any girls. The boys have 10% future, but our girls now, 90% of their future in the next 100 years, they will be as useless as rotten apple. A rotten apple has no contribution because you cannot use it for manure. Judo car from there. What are the futures? That is why I ask you people this question. When you are talking, Africans are waking up. Where are they waking? Where are the youths? Is Nigeria part of the youth that is waking up? And Nigeria among them? Look at Ijo youth guiding pipeline for NATO to draw the pipeline from Ijo to Morocco, to Spain, and connect it to Europe. And you as an Ijo youth at your 30s, your 20s, your 40s, you are carrying AK-47 to make sure that your generation suffer and die in poverty. You are protecting the West interest without putting your own interest. Ask that your sister, that your little sister today, what will be the future of her next tomorrow? You that is protecting pipeline. When they kill you, what is the future hold for your family? You don't ask this. When they give you suggestion, you can't. You cannot reason far beyond your own news. Ask yourself, why is African countries not joining NATO, not joining BRICS? You are clapping and following them. End of the day, what is the result? What is the result? We are here. When you are telling you have some many rights here in Europe. Don't be afraid. You are in Europe. They made law that you will use against them. They made that law, and they make that law to put you in bondage. If you are wise, use that law, follow the law. When you follow the law made by them, they cannot question you. They bring human rights, use it for against them. You have the right to tell them to leave your country. You have the right to control your natural resources. This law is made by the West. Use it against them. Rise, took over powers. The youth, if you to enter the military, enter, take over the power. If it is to recycle these old bumfools, recycle all of them. The youth, what are you doing in your young age? When last did you hear that a Nigerian youth make history to take over power, to make Nigeria work? Tell them to suppress my page from now till thy kingdom come. I have come to stay. MAP eziokwu bụ ndụ. Ogodo ofu onye na watch, we must say the truth. Ask yourself today, you as a celebrity, what is the future hold for you? You think you will reign forever? You will be on top. Highest if you to reign 1 decade, 10 years, you can't reign more than 10 years. You go back to abject poverty. Why can't Africa come together? Where is the love? Why can't Africa come together? We are ready to worship European people. Any decision made by white person, we consider it as best decision. Without checkmating, is this decision going to favor us? Is it for the interest of our people? For which interest is these decisions being made? I thought by now that every country that made up African, that ECOWAS, all the country, their youths, their civilians will be on the street of that country, calling for the total abolition of ECOWAS and the total taking away the Western colony. That is to show that you are waking up. When this protest will start by the people, the civilians, old, young, children, calling for the West to leave Africa alone, calling for the total control, let them go to hell with their aid. We don't need it. How can, there is no country in Africa that deserves to borrow money in any country. Or not possible. You have what it takes to take care of your country. Go and check Malaysia today. Why is Malaysia moving well? Ask yourself, is it not the same resources that are in Malaysia you have in Africa? Go to Dubai, go to Qatar. What is there is the same resources you have in your own country. These countries use human rights created by the Britain, created by the West to liberate themselves, and you are there shouting, Holy Ghost fire, Holy Ghost fire. I command the power. I am doing 100 years and 100 days fasting and prayer. In where ulcer, stomach ulcer, you will end up with it. Then, after the prayer, you go for prayer another 100 years to cure your cancer. End of the day, you will die by cancer. That is the, as I will not go into this. I will come for the Christianity by grace of God tomorrow, and I will knock them again. Very soon. Abo Christian Nisi, prepare for me. I am coming with double silencer. The fear they instigated in you, they planted in you, they injected in you. We have to stop that fear. The hour for us to rise is now. The hour for us to move and do something is now. And I want every country on this note, I am begging, if you have any connection to the people that are rising up, let us start making a move to have a joint protest. We will call it African protest, not Nigeria, not Guinea, not African protest for the Europe to leave us alone, for the West to leave Africa. We need to emancipate ourselves from this mental slavery, all manner of Western colonialism, neocolonialism, whatever. If they want to seize the service we have in their various countries, let them seize it. Under 2 years, we being free, we will recover it times 20. David Chukwuemeka Ndewo. There is a lot of things we need to do. There are a lot. We must not depend on the military coup to rise up. What are we doing as a civilians? What are we doing as a youth? What are we doing as a human being? What are we doing? These are the things you need to ask yourself. These are the things we need to ask ourselves these questions. And when we get the answer, then we have arrived. Ask yourself, every single thing brought to us by the Western world, is there any profit on it? What did the Westerners bring to us? They bring a Muslim to us. What is the benefit of Muslim? Muslim is as useless as nothing. They bring Christianity. What is the benefit of Christianity? To keep us down. Christianity is as useless as nothing. Until we learn how to move away from all these things. Then tell us, for you to be educated, you need to be speaking French as a French colonialism. For you to be educated, you need to be speaking English as an English colonization under bondage. What are the benefits? Is English being educated? Then put our mind. Then structure us. My sister Gina, AD Gina, don't worry. My program about Christianity. Believe you me, you will love it. Ejego mu kwado ofuma. Obulo zapụta na akpo yi na anu kasimba. If today program, okay, if not teacher from many of my program, it have henga jiru this my holiday where more restructure things. Cause this in order. Obugo 3 people na watching. They ima afuka na akpozi. No, it showing when your own you disagree. Does say link. If you let change. Abulazi pota you the crazy, the mad, what again? No, we are here to deliver things as people that followed Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. Because Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, whom I follow, lecture, and he put everything, he will touch it in the way it will be. Then you will understand things. That is why you are seeing the return of MAP. Abula to return, Kamona and Berima, Kaida exchange word. Those Berima issue, I have buried them because they are already defeated. The area for us to wake up, because what is putting us down is, 1 is religion, 2 is hatred, and that hatred come through religion. The division come through religion, and for you to liberate, you need to take off that thing that caused that division. You take it away. That is going back to your root. Going back, connecting the dot together, going back to your ancestors, tracing your root back. Because if you check when an African people stop creativity, is the moment they give them that Christian. It took away their brain of reasoning. This broadcast, I said it will not last more than 2 hours, and they remain 2 minutes or 3 minutes to become 2 hours. And I will round it up here. Africans are living in bondage because we are supporting what we know nothing about. We are still clapping and hailing our oppressors. We need to understand the mission of any person coming to Africa in the name of liberating Africa, so that we will not be repeating one thing and be running cycle in one place thinking we are making a move. We cannot be rotating one place thinking that we have achieved nothing. Americans come with different strategies. Today we are on bondage because of we follow the America. We are bondage in European law. Today we don't even know what the world is talking about. We only civilize on making on social media. On a real ground, we are not passing the right message. And these are the things we are going to be putting out from now on, so that Africans will rise up, come together, and we need to chase out Christianity, any religion, white, anything that has to do with colonization. We need to take it out. On that note, I say, may Chukwu Okike Abịama onye pụrụ ime ihe niile guide and protect every one of us wherever we are. May God give us the spirit to take the right decision and stand on it and fight to conquer and to win. Africa must rise again, and Biafra must come. The enemies must go down. The ability for you to know your enemy is the ability for you to fight. The moment you detect your enemy, that you will start fighting your enemy. The Westerns are the Africans' enemy. And Africans need to use the same law made by the West to conquer the West. And I say, may Chukwu Okike Abịama give us the power, the knowledge to achieve this. On this note, I say, may God bless Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, bless the Directorate of State, and bless every IPOB member. He say, once again, my name is MAP Ezioku Bundu, 1 in Biafra land. Thank you and remain blessed. Stay tuned for more videos. We have come to take what belongs to us. Thank you all. All must hear Biafra. IPOB, one family. One family, IPOB. We must achieve Biafra this time, and the IPOB Biafra will liberate Africans to the core. God bless you all.